30 seconds to battle.
One thing I still don't like about Drow is the fact that I agree that she's not just gonna fall over in these fights, but there is still the problem that so much of your damage is limited once somebody gets on top of you, right? Because the marksmanship goes away. So it's like, even if you don't kill her, just like Doom or Tiny being within 400 range of Drow Ranger is going to limit the damage by a lot. I think it kind of neuters the hero quite a bit. That's still my problem with it.
I mean, she gets tossed back, or DB gets to like Shiva's blink, and he's just sticking on her with Shiva's lane. Then yeah, that even if she's not technically getting bursted, the fight's still going to be hard for Polaris here. I think a lot of it also comes down to this mid lane, like how good of a start does Mac have relative to Yahweh, because this puck can deal with Pango in the mid game, but I do feel like Pango is incredibly strong right now, and it's honestly not the worst Pango game if he gets off to a good start.
Dyer's cover.
Dude, the raises, man. The raises are just, honestly, they gotta tune that down a little bit. This the triple raise start is just too intense, because it's not a triple raise, it's a quadruple or quintuple raise because of the movement speed reduction. I don't know why I forgot about it. What's the point of it starting at 12% and then going up by 1% per level? What kind of scaling is that?
Hey, I always voted to nerf this back, but you know, people stop picking SF, so it looks reasonable, but it's still pretty goddamn broken in these early waves. And another kill for your dream. Very good start for this Shadow Fiend, and he's kind of it's a first phase Shadow team that's also the linchpin of this AG draft. He gets off to a good start here. You're going to be able to drive tempo, do some early Roshans. He's going to be very scary in this game, because there's not a lot that answers the SF outside of Drow just being super strong.
Right, yeah. I guess one other thing about the Drow matchup that I was thinking about is the fact that there are two of the frontline heroes, two of the initiators, two of the heroes that would get on top of Drow Ranger and Challenger do have bonus armor, right? You've got Doom, who naturally goes for armor items anyway, but also has the Devour, which I assume is bonus armor and not base. And then Tiny, his ultimate is all bonus armor. So that is actually going to be hard for Drow Ranger to cut through that. The marksmanship won't be as effective.
Every time I feel like that's the case, though, these late game Drows just kill everybody. Normally, like, there is some truth in that. Tiny is an old school Drow counter in the sense of you never pierce the armor. It is pretty nice. I agree, like, these small things are going to be nice in the early mid game, but if we're talking ultra late, I don't feel like Drow ever lacks the kill ability in the late game. It just never happens. She just shoots you in multi-shots. She has the hypothermia stacks. You just get popped. It happens really fast. Hero just does too much damage. So
just because of the Drow, do you favor Polaris for the late game?
I'm not opposed to taking
all things, even if Pango and Drow are strong, I feel like I do slightly favor them, because the onus is on AG to have the gap close her and take her out of the fight. And I feel like that means you can always rock your vision, force the enemy, set them up better, but you have to get there, and I think getting there is not necessarily that easy. So I do think the AG lanes are very strong, and you have a Centaur, and I just hate Centaur, so I'm never going to vote for Centaur teams. I think this hero is garbage, and he should always lose.
Yeah,
but no bias.
I completely agree with that. I mean, you want to talk about heroes that have armor. Centaur is a hero that does not have any armor. For whatever reason, this tanky, quote-unquote, tanky hero is one of the squishiest strength heroes, just straight up physical damage. But it looks like in lane, maybe they can get the kill onto In Your Dream. They boxed him in and should be able to finish him off with another round of the double edge. So a good little turnaround there from Polaris after a rough start.
I don't think you should die there, but you definitely take that. The one way you can make the Centaur hero work is if you have a really good first 10 minutes. Dominate the lane, you absolutely free farm, you take tower with Vanguard. I feel like this is the game flow we used to see from these offlane Centaurs when it was really strong. When you had an active Retaliate, I mean, you gotta remember that this hero used to have another spell. They just got rid of it.
Yes. It had a whole nother spell, and that's what made him strong. I mean,
yes,
he's still good in the laning phase, but he was straight up broken back in the old retirement reactive.
I mean, he's good at staying on lanes because he just has an insane regen now. It's almost impossible to really kick this hero out, but I feel like he's pretty bad at stopping carries from farming.
Yeah.
Which I feel is... I would argue that's... I would take that over just being able to sit here. I feel like your offlaner sitting here is not that good unless you're really happy with the scale. Like, I think it's okay if you're a Doom or something because you're posing such a large threat of just running away with it. That's kind of scary. But a Centaur just sitting here treating with an SF, I don't think you're happy with your Centaur. So you want to get aggressive? This is some aggression.
Yeah, they're going on both sides. Both carries being assaulted here, and both carries will survive and return some fire, though Polaris is going to walk away a little bit worse for wear compared to Army Geniuses in that they're safe lane. So for now, Army Geniuses have a slight advantage when it comes to this lane with the DB Doom and the Hoodwink. Jokum got a really good bushwhack, but In Your Dream is also pretty healthy, so it's going to be pretty tough for Boomy Bocarino. Nice toss back. Oh, behind the SF. Managed to hit a two-man avalanche. Unfortunately, Telekinesis kind of put In Your Dream out of position there. Meanwhile, they traded out in the bottom lane. Bocarino still going for this kill, though. Does hit the stomp, and In Your Dream might be able to. No, In Your Dream's not going to be able to chase for more. So, damn, they got both the kills in bottom lane, huh?
Yeah, just Jokum DB offlane putting in more work.
Salamat na Comandante sa pag-share, mahal na kita.
Overstep on the side with Treant just getting nuked down with mana burn. Mana aura for Hoodwink definitely helps as well.
Regeneration!
He's a better hero. That's it. He is going Meteor Hammer. So now I'm stuck between hating Centaur and hating Hammer. Now it's a tough decision. I don't know anymore.
Okay, what is the point of Meteor Hammer nowadays? Explain why we see it so much in pubs, but not that much in professional play.
Well, sometimes Valve puts items in the game that are designed to make your experience as mad as possible. Because I feel like that adds an enjoyable element to Dota. I mean, Dota is pretty much about griefing people as much as you can without being called out for it, right? Sure. So Meteor Hammer definitely fits that mold as CML gets foiled here. And so I think if you're looking at it from that sense, you know, if you're in a pub game, that's maximum time to grief people and enjoy that grief. And that's where Hammer really shines. In a professional game, you can kind of get away with it sometimes. You know, there's some pro games where you can kind of mess with your own teammates and it shines, but it's rare. It's rare because sometimes if your captain brings out the machete, and, you know, then you have to answer for your hammer sins.
Machete beats hammer. Is that how that goes?
I mean, that's everybody's favorite childhood game, right? Tome, machete, hammer.
Middle tower is under attack.
If your support steals the tome, but your offlaner bought a hammer, the machete conquers both. I don't know. I don't know. Remember the rules anymore.
Yeah, well, I have to say that I feel like it's a more accessible minus nowadays when it comes to griefing games. That whole line that you're talking about.
No, it's not. I hate this argument. This is the worst argument of all hammer buyers. You're a dirty hammer buyer. I can already tell.
But I'm not. No, I hate the hammer. I am telling you
this
that
is
Midas
a
is
false
a grief
argument.
game. Midas is a grief item, and I'm just saying hammer is an easier to build grief item.
Visibility!
Oh, easier to build. Yes, yes.
Yeah,
but it's worse. Significantly worse. I would take the jungler Midas over the laning hammer any day of the week.
Yeah, well, we're in agreement there. Though I did build a hammer earlier today on Timbersaw, so.
Shame.
It's because I was the strongest hero in the game, and I wanted to take early towers because I had an AM. And we won. I took a ton of space. I just, like, by 15 minutes, we took all the tier 1s and a couple of tier 2s and at the freest game. So, like, top lane, Mac. Gonna be rolled on here. Rolling Thunder once. Roll around, get the angle right, bounce it back again, and nice kill for Bocarino to pick up and make the Centaur a little bit more of a
Radiant structures
a hero. Boy, we both hate Centaur and we both hate Meteor Hammer, so this is going to be quite the biased cast.
Well, it evens out because they cancel each other.
A prize.
In fact, I'm biased.
That's true.
I like these Pango rotations. I think you do have to kick this SF out if he's going to sit there this long. Because your tower is getting hammered bottom. Slowly but surely through this tree and armor. getting absorbed into the Doom. And he's going Midas too, so
It's going Midas
why not?
and Hammer. Oh my god, the double grief.
Radiant's bottom
But then,
tower has fallen.
does the double grief cancel itself out?
I don't think so, but toss back with the coil, snaps it. Pretty nice by Varys, and that's going to be a combo. They're going to have to worry about the entire game, but here's a nasty combo. It's just Pango straight up. Oh, he died! Marksmanship, he didn't jump to the orb in time, and that last shot was a marksmanship shot.
Careful there, son.
Man, that's a hard one to pronounce there.
Indeed, his marksmanship has been sunk.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Can't get out. I mean, nice early drow rotation because he doesn't really have anywhere else to go, making the most of being around this mid and creating momentum for this Pangolier, which, as I said, I feel like Pango can have a very good game. Coil's nice, but it's not the end-all for this hero. You have to
Radiant
hit on him anyway. He has
structures
Tree
are
armor to back him up. So good early pressure and playthrough on this Pangolier. You're going to have a Midas Meteor Hammer Doom who probably isn't doing these fights for a long time. Your SF's going to be pretty slow as well. It just comes down to Yahweh to take the brunt of this. And his tower is almost dead off this Kata rotation. So, really nice gameplay from Polaris to play around this mid. Get some momentum going with their Pangolier. He's got 4 assists. Probably wishes his team would stop KSing his kills, but he can't have it all.
Yeah, it would be a little bit closer to his diffusal blade. He's currently trying to build, and he's owning without that, just straight up the orb of corrosion.
I feel like Pango Diffusal is like the strongest early timing in Dota right now.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know what else is just such a large power spike in terms of damage, chaseability, team fight. It's just insanely absurd on this hero. So I would look for them to try and use that. Have Box slowly take top tower here. He has his first tank item in Hood. Opting for that over Vanguard. Makes sense. He's playing versus a lot more magic. So you want to take this top tower, kick people out of the jungle, and then play through this Pango Diffusal. If that all comes together in the next 5 minutes, you're going to put yourself in a decent position to just play through the Drow. Because Drow has a lot of levels here, level 9.
Yeah, they had an ancient stack that they cleared out, and I don't think Army Geniuses have been doing the same kind of stacking. They've been a little bit more focused on pushing this bottom lane in, with DB going his rather greedy build. I mean, we have praised DB every single time we've watched Army Geniuses. We think this guy is just crazy good. So let's see if his item build pays out.
I mean, it'll probably pay out if the game doesn't get super accelerated.
Oh, stolen coil put over to the puck. Back. Now he's going to be able to use the Stampede. Gets a little bit of extra damage there. Misses the swashbuckle, and the puck is able to jump away. Varys, okay. Raindrop. The hammer tactics here for now. The hammer man is coming. Put the swashbuckle away. Manages to dodge the Doom. Oh, he's still alive on a sliver of HP there, but managed to find a haste rune, so he may still come back and play a little bit more. Jokum hiding away into a little spot that I didn't even know was there. It's a area to be able to hide out in. DD pressuring the mid tower with the hammer.
Free damage.
Yeah, it is.
Sends a message. You go back to farm. I mean, he's gonna farm a lot this game if he's not dying in the fights. He's gonna get very fat. Maybe he just feels like if he gets his items, they can't lose. I don't think it's 100% true, but I can understand if you feel like you're gonna get there so fast it doesn't matter. Because there's not a lot that can aggressively stop this Doom.
Are scanning.
Pretty much only Pango ganks, and that should be
Radiant's bottom
somewhat
tower
easy to
is
read,
under
I
attack.
think, if you're a DD here. So it probably just feels like, what's gonna punish my super greedy build? I don't see it. Outside of you doing early Roche between the Drow and Pango, which, I mean, it's not the worst thing to give up in this type of game. Playing SF Puck Doom, these are very hard scaling cores in a sense.
Yeah, it's more about the, like, nowadays second Roshan is so important.
Dire's middle
Feels like
tower
first
is
Roshan
under
not
attack.
so much, and I would say
Dire's
for this game, second
structures are
Roshan
fortified.
pretty big as well, right? Like, getting a free shard for the Drow Ranger could really push that game forward into an untenable level for...
Absolutely. You want the Roshans here if you're Polaris. More importantly, I think you want them away from AG. You do not want to give this Shadow Fiend. Hero's really scary. He's one of the, I think he's one of the better users, honestly. If he can just stand his ground and punish you the full time by hitting you. It's kind of scary. So I feel like that's what Polaris is looking at here, and they went early pipe on Bach over the aggressive Blink. That tells me they're gonna probably look to group up here and either force tier 1 mid into Roach, something of this 5-on-5 nature. Because otherwise you would want faster blink here and try and make some moves before
Dire's
PTVs
middle
come
tower
out.
is under attack.
But now you're giving up that window. That's kind of the downside of Centaur. You have to choose what you want to do, and you kind of get punished either way. You have to make the other work.
That was smooth. Did you see that? Max started rolling up and he realized he was like, no, this is not the time for that. Hold up, top lane. And Doom for Bocarino. This is heavy commitment for a Centaur, and they may not even get it. The overgrowth protects the Centaur, and he's able to just walk away. That is really bad for Army teams.
The early pipe plus the heals, he's just way too tanky with the innate regen. Having damage problems on AG here, and now Mac. DD and Defusal
Radiant's
up.
middle tower is
You're
under attack.
really strong right now, but I don't think you can get anything off of it. Pretty sad.
I feel like they used the guaranteed kill combo on the one hero that is not a guaranteed kill. You know? Like, if they found Mac with that, big kill. Like, worth using 2 ultimates for. Why would you enable Centaur as a hero by going on him? The hero doesn't do anything. Just let him exist.
They felt like Prevent wasn't there with Overgrowth. Maybe he just dies.
Yeah.
I feel like I
Dire's middle
wouldn't be
tower is
ganking
under
Centaur
attack.
either. I don't think it does much in this game. Whatever. He's just going to buy auras and exist anyway. But it's also a product of, I mean, this Doom build is just, it's super greedy. He even went bots after Midas, so your ability to make moves is
And
pretty
Merlini
limited.
Wu, is he smurfing in C right now?
I mean,
Midas bots and a
If he
hammer.
goes Radiance next, you should look at the account.
The triple farm build? My
The triple
God.
threat. If you want some GPM, this is how you do it right here.
Yeah, that is true. He could be setting some records here in the game when it comes to net worth.
You need Shard Rush.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's just not prioritized because you just better stuff. You need Blink if you need to get the deep overgrowths, just the auras.
But it can sometimes lull you into a false sense of security, thinking you're invisible, but you're actually spotted by a sentry.
Actually,
To make
taking
sure
up the survival.
see the phase shift.
What ingratitude!
The
Not
Witchblade.
taking it. And sure, with the Witchblade, they really are playing the scale between DD's builds and the Witchblade's build up on Puck, which I think you should always go, but
Radiant's
it's just
middle
a
tower
really good
is
way
under
to scale
attack.
on Puck. I mean, they are playing for late. That does seem to be the name of the game here in Southeast Asia anyway.
Very true. And not seems to always go unpunished, except in the Lycan games. As long as you're not versus Lycan, probably not too worried about the game just being very slow.
Stolen Devour for Rubik will help him progress to the next part of the game. The 2 supports on Polaris are actually pretty farmed compared to AG.
They're itemizing pretty greedily between the Shard and the Aether Lens, trying to get on Yahweh top, but he will fade. At the same time, second smoke move going in. This was not read at all by AG. They're gonna get the big reward for it.
Yeah, they are. And your dream is gonna fall. And now there is DB on the other side of things here. If you want to use the Doom on, surely it's gotta be Mag, but he might not be able to catch it. Toss over to the side. He tosses the Doom on top, but a stalk comes in from Ocarina. A beautiful play. Almost finished up bar. He slips away on just a sliver of HP. But ultimately, I think they're good with this. 2-man coil, chill out. Ultimately, AG have just lost another fight.
Pipe's just way too strong right here. They don't have any extra damage if Shadow Fiend's not joining those fights. It's just all nukes and they're just sitting there healing up. What are you gonna do about it? Pretty much nothing. Even early Shard on Tango here for some roll up. They are having some initiation problems on AG in it. Just, I don't know, maybe they itemized too greedily.
They dug too deep.
It does feel a little bit like it. Like this is
Dwarven greed.
It does not feel like the impact we've seen from DB in a lot of the other games where he was winning those early fights. It's so slow and clunky.
Overgrowth. Build a Doom.
The hammer turned
massive. The meteor hammer. No, DB, no. Not like this. Oh, dear. See, this is what Meteor Hammer does to you.
rots your brain.
It really does.
It's like one of those old drug commercials. This is your brain on Meteor Hammer. And it's a Doom trying to hammer himself.
You know what it is most of the time you're using the hammer like on yourself, so it's probably just built up with concussions over and over again.
The self-inflicted mental damage. Literally
Dire's
mental.
top tower is under attack.
I mean, they're in a rough spot right here for AG, because you're hitting your Drow timing right now. She has Aegis, she has Hurricane Pike. Your damage is just a little limited. You kind of get through this alley on the other side where Puck and SF get their next item. Then you have the right click that takes these fights off your limited stuns. Because the Doom is just not offering you much right now. That's a simple truth. He has a lot of net worth, but it's all net worth to build other net worth. He doesn't have an aura. He doesn't have a blink for stun or Doom action. So compared to Centaur, he's just not doing anything right now.
But like Polaris aren't that far ahead in net worth, and they haven't taken that much of the map control-wise. So, like ultimately, if they can't like take tier 2s and aggressively take the map, isn't it kind of fine for AG?
In a way,
It's more fun.
that's just how much are you giving to this Pango and Drow? Because Pango and Drow are this game.
Max about it. Oh no, we missed the swashbuckle. Doesn't matter. Had another shield crash, no problem. He's level 15, so he went for that talent. Always had it up. Meanwhile, DB is gonna get run down. Last couple of shots. Oh, overgrowth. Nicely timed by CML, just on the edge. And will secure another death for DB.
Dire's middle tower is under
It's
attack.
also about what you're playing for with this Doom, right? You're not playing the auras for two other pretty high scaling damage cores, so you're playing for yourself, but then
Dire's top tower
are
is
you
under
happy with
attack.
going into the late game with this type of Doom build versus a lineup that has Stampede, that has Overgrowth, that has Rubik, that has a Pango who might get Lincolns at some point or doesn't necessarily have to show, right? Like, it's not that easy of a Doom game. So that's why when they picked the Doom, I felt like it was like an Aura Doom. You know, you go the Greaves, you go the
Dire's
Pipe,
top
whatever,
tower
and
is
then you
under
just play
attack.
around the
Dire's
SF getting
top
like
tower
second Roche.
has fallen.
But now you don't really have that option, so you're forced into this late game scenario, but you're forced into it in a game where I don't feel like the late game Doom is that amazing.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's awkward. This
thanks.
build is awkward, man. I know I'm probably harping on it, but I really do feel like it's just overkill. It's unnecessary amount of GPM acceleration into you're gonna be at a point where like you just have to sell the hammer or something for the slot anyway, you know?
Yeah, that is actually pretty true. Because he's going to get a Blink Dagger next, because they still need initiation. He especially needs to be able to shut down Max Pango, who's just running the boards right now. I mean, he's just clearing house everywhere he goes.
They're even giving him the tomes. And he's level 17 here with a haste, Blink Diffusal online, half the way to an Ags. This Pango is almost the same net worth as Doom. And he
Salamat
has items
Emmanuel
that are
El Villarama
very
sa
high
pag-share
impact.
mahal na kita.
This is what I'm saying. A lot of this net worth for AG is kind of deceiving right now. I feel like Polaris are in a very strong position. Just keep taking towers with this Aegis staff for another minute, get Drow to BKB, and that's where she's a menace because the gap closes only the tiny. He's still trying to get the blink. This is a 5 tiny. They have no other initiation here. He's also their only
Dire's
coil
bottom
snap.
tower is under attack.
Nonetheless, they're gonna try and take the fight, but this is just smoke on smoke, and you're not gonna like what you find.
Avalanche before the stomp comes in from Ocarina. At the same time, Mac is going to start trying to go on the SF. Rolls up inside the coil. Now Drout's just set up for beautiful success. Mac keeps him stunned, and Akashi knocks him down. Pretty easy team fight through and through for Polaris, and only 2 survivors are going to be able to
Salamat
get away
Meg
on the
Arnel
side.
Aninyon, mahal ka ng magulang mo.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
This is getting out of control very fast because, again, I don't think you have the items to combat what Polaris are building here. They're getting to their game plan, whereas I'm still wondering what the AG game plan is.
Polaris, reminder for everybody watching, maybe you haven't seen Polaris has usually been later in the series, so we actually haven't cast them at all. They are 0-6. I went through a replay or two just before this game, and it was rough, man. I was watching the Talon replay where they just kept fighting into the Green Mother lane. Like, they have had some rough losses. So getting a win here, just a single win, could do so much for turning around their season. And up against a tough team like Army Geniuses, who have proven that, like, they are one of the best in C right now. They have some serious momentum behind them. Telekinesis. Alright, this is going to be tossed into the stomp there and just easily wiped down by Mac. Two-man coil. They got the dual Pango. They do manage to get the dual onto the Pango. And the BKB goes out from In Your Dream, but the overgrowth really well timed. Controlled both of the BKBs, but they caught the Drow. The Drow Stampede. Okay, she's got her own BKB and will use the Stampede away. Stolen coil placed onto the SF, but AG, they want to pursue for more. They know they've got a moment of weakness here. They got to try and clean up as much as possible. Stolen phase shift will delay the inevitable for Boomy. It will fall. A 1-for-2 exchange at the end of the day. Very good for AG.
Somehow DB.
Here I am.
Oh, wait. Oh, he did not respect CML nearly enough.
No, that is just way too greedy. Does have a Yules, but he's not nearly as tanky if he doesn't get in his old form. And he did go that basher over in earlier Lincoln, so not gonna have that protection, at least in his early fights.
Do you think that was a mistake?
I'm in DC.
Ooh, jeez.
They hammered the landline.
Lima all over again. So do you feel like that was a mistake from Mac not going for Lincoln's in a game where I feel like it's only Doom, and I feel like he's the target every time, at least right now. Okay. Pretty rough. Nice use of the Hurricane to push him into the tower too, though. Pretty,
They also went Octarine on this Rubik.
Yeah, he's got it already. It's crazy.
I kind of like Octarine early on supports.
Me too.
This gotta be. Oh no! Oh no! This gotta be.
May have found a spamming line. I noticed Force did drop a couple of lines. One that ends in OMG. That was pretty obnoxious. This one. Obnoxious one.
You know, so obnoxious, man.
I mean, that's because Noxious sells. I mean,
Does it? I feel like it just annoys people.
yeah, it annoys people, and that's why people buy it. To annoy other people. I mean, Avery, you did your first Talon voice line. Did you? What was your decision in how you made your voice line? Did you go for annoying? I don't think so.
I mean, I'm not gonna say what I went for because obviously the spicy ones did not make it in the game. We'll leave it at that, you know. But
True. That's the same for I think most of them. Everybody's got a spicy take, and then Val does the least spicy of them.
I mean, they do the one that's not gonna get them suit. You gotta take in corporate considerations here. For every voice line you think is annoying that Slacks produces, just remember, there were 2 others he submitted that got rejected. So, think about that the next time you hear his line. You're like, that was goddamn annoying. Well, you didn't hear the other ones.
Well, hopefully Army Genius is going to be back soon. But for meanwhile, we can take a look at some of these other items we got being built on Polaris and AG. We got a heart going for Bocarino, so this old dog is... Well, speaking of which, actually, you got... I wanted to talk about this. You got Bocarino and Boombox on the same team. Bok and Boomy. These are some old dogs in Southeast Asia, and they managed to make it back into Div 1. I think that's kind of hype.
Yeah.
Well, maybe. Well, they're winning this game. They're winning this game, you know. Maybe an old dog can learn new tricks, you know. New wave of Zoomer Dota. Keeping up. We got... Yeah, true. Let's not... You know, some things are possible for some people, but not others. Some dogs are a little older than others, you know?
Oh no! This gotta be! Oh no! This gotta be!
Alright, looks like AG's on their way back. We got a heart for Bocarino. CML, 4-staff. Got obviously the...
That right there, my friend, is called skill.
Boisterous attitude, courage in the face of despair.
I think you're a gorilla.
It's my spirit animal. Let me have something. Oh, okay. You know what?
No, it's not.
I'll just be old ether. How about that?
Ether? What?
Yeah. Intangible entity floating through the Dota space. Faceless, bodiless. Just a whisper in your ear late at night when
It's
you're
all
on
just
that
leading
10th
back
pub
to the abyss.
that says,
Oh no! This
Gonna
gotta
push the
be!
when you hear that,
Oh
that's
no! This gotta be!
alright. This line is hell of annoying. What the hell is this line?
That's what I was saying. That's why Slacks is routinely the best-selling talent line, because it's the most.
No, that's not why.
No.
That's not why. He pays people to buy it.
Well, that too. I mean, he pays people to spam it.
Pays people to do everything with it.
If you guys
also
didn't know,
buys his
Slacks
own
actually
line.
pays people to buy his voice line and use
Let's
it
not
in
talk about
high-profile scenarios.
We don't need to talk about that.
I mean, it's a smart little play. Couldn't be me.
He invests, and he gets the return sometime. I mean, let me tell you something. Next year, you're gonna see my line a lot. You're gonna see.
Oh yeah, you already have your idea.
Trying to build a client list. I mean, honestly, all you have to do is you just have to get OGD. Let's say Seb is playing. You just need Seb to use it like twice. And these lines are out of
Gee, what is happening to their internet? Went out again.
OMG.
Oh yeah, that's the voice line force.
Yeah.
OMG.
OMG.
Player's got some real winners in the totally obnoxious department. So well done.
I also like how Urudu's Thunders is just Arabic percussive beat. It's like, Valve is like, we're not gonna try. They should have spelled the beat out, you know, like dots and slashes. That would have been
Yeah,
the chat.
true. Who else has got what? Chrysalis for In Your Dream. Max gonna go in Agadim Scepter.
Still trying to go through these items, man. Bro, I don't know if we're gonna have a game. These guys got pack. Also running out of time. This is burning.
Yeah, it is kind of rough. How much more time do they have?
3 minutes, like
They said.
it'd just be forfeit situation. Hate to see it, but
I mean, one upside is Polaris was kind of weak. So, you know, that's
Yeah.
something.
alright, he's given Polaris a chance to keep pause. We'll see if they're nice guys or absolute animals.
Were you ever one of those? Were you ever one of those guys who would? Did you ever try and rule book anybody?
I would always argue to the like, nobody wants to win a game. What is the point?
No. I mean, that's definitely not
Well,
true. There are
I mean,
definitely
Peter did,
people out
yeah.
there who are willing to win at any cost.
Yeah, I mean, some of the old captains, they kind of just get to a point where they don't give a crap anymore, you know. Which I kind of understand. It's like, whatever, dude. It's play by the rules, and you know, it's like your 2000th pro game with your puppy or something. Like, I'm not gonna wait for you. You know, who cares? But I feel like a lot of the people who still have hope, still have a dream, you know, they're gonna pause because they don't want to win by them. But that's just not cool.
So
Came
you
here to
never
play
had,
Dota.
you never got rule booked by somebody or had a grudge against somebody, and you're like, you know what? Screw that guy. Yeah, we won't be giving them pause time.
Might have happened once, but I don't remember. I remember there was a match that we had someone DC and we were playing versus EG or in Shopify.
Oh no!
They used a bunch of pause time, and I did not expect them to.
Damn. You really thought they were just gonna, they would just tell you, no, we'll take the free win.
Oh no! This gotta be! Patay kung patay! Pohi kung
Okay,
pohi!
who had faith on your team? This is actually a good personality tip. Artur wouldn't do that to me.
Kudos to them. I mean, they're nice lads. I'm just messing you up. I'm not creating fake. But a lot of the NA guys are like, they talk a lot of shit, but then when it comes down to it, they're pretty nice about that. It's like I said, you just don't want to win through a default or a stand. At the same time, rules are rules, and at a certain point, you do have to just go.
Skido!
Because,
OMG!
you know, whatever, you can't sit here for 6 hours while lines get reset.
Yeah,
That's like, I've been there. I've lost the default win. We also won a game 45. Mojo micro to me. That was pretty cool.
You kinda, I vaguely remember.
I mean, we had like a 30k now or something, but
This gotta be!
So you basically had an extra player on your team. Your raw gold.
yeah, but honestly, it's still really hard to like anytime you win 45 and the game isn't over, it's still pretty hard.
Oh no! This gotta
A hero is worth a lot. It takes a lot of gold to
Oh no! This
win
gotta
someone else.
be!
Maybe different hockeys. It's a mess.
Yeah.
We did win one of those ones. Well, it's possible there too. I mean, this game, AG's not winning it. Yeah, F5, so I'm not saying that applies here.
Relax
But
aja, Brody.
I think there are very, very few times where I've ever cast a game where a team managed to win 4 versus 5, and I feel like that was the end of the series, right? You know, once you lose 4 versus 5, there's no coming. And I think it's actually kind of similar in why you would give up pause time and that sort of thing, where you're talking about playing against stand-ins, is it's like the expectation is set there that you should win, and that is a terrible place to play from.
oh, it's all. I think there's been a couple of Canadian squads who just did. It's 45. That was the nail. That was the nail in the coffin, you know.
Yeah. I mean, okay, well, apparently that's all you need to do. Beat Shopify or back then EG. Just beat them one time. 4 versus 5. Just all in. Keep playing 4 versus 5s over and over again. Once it shatters them, and then boom, you're the top dog. And
So,
Oh no!
yeah, resilience or
you know, I mean,
very well.
if 10 years of that helps. All I'm saying is if 10 years of Reddit absolutely dumpstering you has not broken you, by now they're not going to be broken.
That's true. That's true. We were talking about this in Lima. We were talking about which team has the most hate watchers, and you and I were both adamant that it's definitely that.
Oh, it's not even.
Half of North America hates them. All of Europe hates them as a team. Maybe loves their players individually, but you know, it's like
I mean, they
everybody.
It's not hate. Hate's a strong word.
Well, they hate watch. Let's say.
Yeah, they love watching. They love watching them lose. They have a lot of people. There are other teams with that too, for sure. There's a lot of people that like watching OG, right? For similar reason.
Yeah, I mean, 2-time TI winners. Also, there have been some certain things on, say, social media that may give you some reason to cheer against them. Alliance is probably going to be another one that has a decent number of hate watchers.
Yeah.
Who in Southeast Asia is the hate watch team? Maybe Fnatic?
It's forced because of the voice lines, honestly. I feel like SCA hate watches all their teams. Who do they not hate?
That's actually true.
Like, Jesus, you go in any
Lagi sa
chat,
28 may
just
pasok na ako.
kick this guy, CEO meme, free him from prison. The only player they all love is DJ. Everybody loves DJ. I mean, they'll hate on his team, but they like.
Wala kang pasok ngayon.
But everybody else they're open hunting season. It's a free for all out here.
I mean, the best part is that now, like with like back in the day, right? A lot of the teams were a lot more nationalistic. They would go down. It would be an all-Filipino squad. And nowadays, I feel like a lot more mixed up. There are still the full Filipino squads. We've got Execration as well as players do rep that. RB Geniuses are almost all Indonesian, except for Filipino. Blacklist, that's another one. But there is more mixing in Southeast Asia than I feel like there used to be. That just means that's, you know, you like a certain team, well, you still have certain players that you can cheer against because they're not your countrymen. That's what I've found watching C.
You're saying it's become more polarized.
And more like, not more polarized, but maybe a little bit more complex, you know? Now you have to individually hate on a certain player and say they're dog shit and get them out of the team. They're not from the same region that you are.
Oh, I see. Gotta bring some nationalism in. That's what you're trying to do.
Yeah, exactly. How many people are, you know, how many times have I seen Kiki away just because he's not Indonesian? I feel like I've seen that a few amount of times, you know? Or Narman, that's another standout. Narman, of course, Mongolian in the Geek Slate team.
There's pride, you know? I respect pride. Not in that sense. They are debating playing 4v5 here. Like for me too here.
Wait. 4 versus 5. Wait, so who cannot get back into the game?
But they are letting Polaris use the time. Polaris has been very light here, letting the clock run. They also have no unpause time if something goes wrong for them. That's usually why you save a little. 4 minutes and then against the god.
Against the saying God just wants army geniuses to lose.
Well, that's saying right what now? Else? It's an act of God, you know. Somebody crushed their lines. It could have been the meteor hammer. I'm not gonna say who it was, but it was the meteor hammer. He was probably acting out in real life, you know. DB was probably banging on his desk every time he casted it, yelling "Hammer time, hammer time,
hammer time,"
and probably broke his desk.
Hammer time.
Snapped the LAN cable, and now we're here.
You know what? Now my next pub, you gave me an idea. Next pub that I build a meteor hammer, I'm gonna pause. Next time, right before I let go of the meteor hammer on somebody, I'm gonna say stop. Hammer time.
That's the meme. That's the meme. You can't just steal my memes like that, dude.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so I actually wanted to reference this at some point in time, so no better time than now, I guess. The Centaur War Runner. I was watching your stream, and I think you were playing Lion. reason I think
lost.
it was Lion. yeah, you lost.
That's an L.
And you were talking about how trash the hero was, which is another reason why I think it was Lion. And you said something that made me crack up because it's very, very true. You called it you called Lion. You said he had like Cold War era technology or something like that.
Yes, that is accurate. You think Centaur's in that category?
Centaur is absolutely Cold War era technology. He is just like Lion in that he is a Dota 1 hero, right? That is what you're saying, right?
Yes. I just feel certain heroes are outdated, you know?
Yeah.
Too much mobility, there's too much tankability in the game. You look at some of these spells, it's like throwing a water balloon at it.
This gotta be.
I just think they need some updates or reworks or something. Like, you can only buff mana drain so much. I feel like Centaur's similar. You can only buff this hero so much to the point where he's either just completely broken or he's unviable, and it's hard to get him in the middle because his spells are just kind of whatever in today's game. Like this passive is some like 12-year-old passive. Anybody care? Okay, I get it. It's like an iconic hero and iconic spells. You can't really change it. I'm fine with that. Not every hero has to be super competitively viable or whatever, but that's I hate these heroes. No, I'm just having an explanation.
Agreed.
Also, teams hate each other or what?
What?
They're throwing some shade.
Oh, are they?
Don't want to fight. Talking about secret.max 666. Joining some other team, hipping each other.
Somnus Indo version. Okay.
I can't tell if it's playful banter or
Shut up, Boomy. 101v1. Chat is rioting, by the way, production. So we there you go. Back to the game.
1 minute. Going ready. They're all here.
All right, hey, we're back into the game.
Really on laban, bro.
Okay, never mind. Boku's already jumped on Varys.
They're playing that for 20 minutes.
They really did. Toss back onto CML. That's going to be a quick kill. Jesus, In Your Dream destroyed him with a couple of crits. Nice bushwhack stolen by Boomy. Follow up with the telekinesis and the stomp. In Your Dream is just chain stunned to death, and that's going to be a double kill for Bocarino. So back into the game we go, and it's Polaris with a quick win in a team fight up 4K, 21-11, and they are full in control of this map. They're going to be taking tier 2s, they're going to be taking outposts. They're really well positioned to be able to get second Roshan as well, which is about to spawn, or potential spawn time starts right now. So
I mean, they're going to
see if it's good.
Dire's middle tower
This is
is under
DD
attack.
Akashi.
Oh yeah.
Hitting hard.
Dire's structures
You don't want to
are
glyph this.
fortified.
Yeah. You get a lot off that post-pause play. You got to be careful about that. Because they're tricky. You have a lot of strategic planning time.
Precious bounty.
Ayun lang ako mga
I
prank.
do like Polaris' position here. They're well set up for this next Roshan, which I think they can go high ground with. They're going to be able to get the Lincolns on Pango. Another item on Drought. What's flying out right now? Full Shadow Blade. Whereas
Radiant's courier
old
has
dogs
been
call
killed.
it's dead. But as the old dogs call Lothar's.
Lothar's Edge.
But it is dead on the courier, so that's a big courier thing. That's a very
Unfortunately, it's a late Roshan. And I say unfortunately, I think that's unfortunate for Polaris.
They're gonna
Just
just smoked
because-
on. And you have Shiva's following. This is his timing where he has a useful item. They got the jump on Mango.
Catch the puck and they threw him up. At the same time, they get the Pango out of the way. He's got a boom dump. He's not going to be dying. Now the overgrowth used on In Your Dream. BKB from Akashi as he's going to challenge In Your Dream. And this is a matchup that cannot go the SF's way. AG thought they found the initiation, but it all goes wrong. Tempted hammer. Got him. DB gets him. Doesn't do any damage though. DB definitely thought it was going to do more than it did. And he's going to have to pop the BKB and run away.
I can't believe he didn't just keep me out there, but they might actually get a kill out of this.
They do. CML will actually face the neutral creep. So
Dire's middle tower
They're just
is
going
under
base
attack.
with Polaris. They don't care. They're like, okay, you use Doom. Your SF's dead with no BKB. How do you
Time
fight
to-
us?
Radiant structures
time to use that
are
retaliate.
fortified.
Put him to work.
Dire's
They're gonna
middle
aggressively
tower
glyph
is
here.
under
This is a dead lane. I don't think you can fight this if you're AG.
Radiant's top
They're
tower
TP
is
trying to
under
catch
attack.
the Doom as well.
Dire's top tower
gonna
is under
cancel.
attack.
Alright, he's just trying to create some space here on DB, but tier 3. I thought they might have just committed there. What is this coil, man?
Coil snap, force staff to the wrong direction. She's gonna get back by the bushwhack. Mac, the toss back in, but Mac can only do so much to stop that one. Just pulled in too deep. A stolen him from Boom. He actually does so much damage. The roll AoE. They just destroyed the backline, and now they've managed to kill in your dream. BKB, no.
One hit.
Round. He's gonna be okay for a bit. A force tap. Can he get sidestep? Swashbuckle misses. Stampede. He'll run him over in the end. DB, last one left alive for AG, but now a buyback from the puck. So Polaris do actually have to reset here.
I thought that fight was gonna go bad when they just got the draft. Gary, this hero is one of the strongest late game heroes for a reason, and there is not much to just stop him. You just don't have the damage on AG right now. I feel like In Your Dream has not been able to have a single good fight this game. He's getting outranged by the Drow. There's overgrowth for his speed. Stampede and Rubik are just kiting him. Basher on Pango. Even if you get a good BKB off, it's not necessarily doing anything. It's not worked out in this game. Yeah,
Pango definitely working out. Not another pick off. This time it's Jokum who's gonna fall. Akashi's gonna force DB. Maybe not force him to use the BKB, but at least kick him out of lane. Well, they're gonna go for the kill. Telekinesis stole back, and the Requiem goes, and it finishes off the SF, and even gets Varies in the process too. They don't even need the Drow Ranger to kill this SF. Just good gameplay from Polaris. He's getting it every time.
Yeah, he's had no game this game at all. What's the score now? He's 2-9 on the Shadow King. After a pretty decent lane phase. Remember, AG were leading through lanes, but they just didn't have an answer to the mid game here in terms of Mango and Drow creating the havoc in the fights. This Doom build did not do him any favors, I think. And you can't contest the Roshans. You don't have the team fight aura. You don't have the early BKB from SF because he died twice. You need the game ending Rosh here if you're Polaris. I don't really see what stops us.
Now the catch, Coil. Still at the top. It's actually, oh, I thought he was going to be able to get away. That would have been sick, but DB is traded out for that one. Yoe's on the run here. Slowed down DB. They're going to get a bash. Self-fuels, but they're straight into the roll. No, we phase shifted it. Right, catch him on the way back. Blinks directly on top of him. Great read by Mac. And Polaris quick to follow it up, too.
The more and more I watch this Pango, I'm convinced of the first base. This hero just is absolutely insane. Unless you really make his game miserable. It does so much damage. Finds another double damage room.
They actually had almost all the shards. They picked up the shard from Roshan, and Boke actually took it. So he's got the knowledge thing where he gives him the
Dyer's middle barracks
put
are
on a
under
hero
attack.
for every hero that he hits.
Yeah, I like it.
Could have given it to Rubik for telekinesis. Both.
We will save it here.
Dyer's middle tower is under attack.
I think the Centaur charge is good.
Ranger?
Get to like hard strength point, but it's really good. It's
Dyer's middle
scaling
barracks
damage,
has fallen.
which he kind of lacks
Dyer's
a
middle
lot.
barracks.
But I think it does serve a very good purpose on hero. Just rare you kind of get there. But if you get there, the monster, I mean, he's highest net worth on his team. I haven't really talked about it. 12-1-14 on this Centaur.
Dyer's top
He has
tower.
done his job in this phase this game.
Yeah, he actually has. He's got heart and soon to be overwhelming blink,
Dyer's
so
top barracks are under attack.
a lot of damage. And Polaris know they can't really fight back. They have a tier 2, so they're just playing for that right now. They're playing to get farm. And poor old Jokum pushes himself into the trees, gonna try and scurry on out of here. Mac is gonna pursue as fast as possible. Meanwhile, they do have the Doom on out, but Overgrowth is gonna hold him in place for a little while. And now that the BKB is gone, Drow Ranger will make short work.
I respect DB is still trying to make space in the game because I feel like he knows they can't win the 5-on-5s. Just too hard. His Rubik has 2,000 HP. Glimmer and Octarine. Benefit of this build, you are very tanky to spell damage. Tree and armor on top of it, just extra value At this point, there's too much HP in the banker holders. I mean, there's 4,700 HP on this Centaur. Its finished strength link has a cloak of flames. You're gonna need to right click him.
They have to get this kill. He smoked up to try and kill Mac, and they do manage to get him. So that is a pretty hefty kill streak they got for themselves. In Your Dream and Poke are actually right on top of each other in Viz. In Your Dream pops out first, Poke sees the opportunity to be able to catch him, and that damage is intense. Standing there forward, finds Jokum as well. He's going to be burst down by the multi-shot.
Radiant are scared.
This is where Centaur's gonna steer. And he's dealing damage on top of being tanky. You're just getting two-shot here. This is disgusting.
Any one stun on a hero that is not,
They just call it.
I don't know,
They're done.
and GG.
Polaris Esports victory.
Mood mo tayo naman. Pro player.
Radiant's courier has been killed. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant team ban.
Polaris Esports, turn to pick.
Radiant team pick.
I speak for the trees.
Radiant team pick.
Tagna. Tiny.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Polaris Esports, turn.
Clockwork.
Radiant team ban.
Polaris Esports, turn to ban.
Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Polaris Esports, turn to ban.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Polaris Esports turn.
In the spirit.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Polaris Esports turn. Radiant team pick.
Disruptor.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Polaris Esports turn.
Gyrocopter.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team banned. Polaris Esports turn to ban. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Polaris Esports turn to pick. Radiant team pick.
Brewmaster.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. You may now select your heroes.
That's right, they have started down the path of being able to get their first series victory, but they just got to be able to get one more game. And it feels like they, see, game one, I think we had some criticisms to throw AG's side, but I really don't think that Polaris did a whole lot wrong. I think they just executed pretty damn well, right, Avery?
Yeah, I don't have any criticism. Pretty clean game. They even DDoSed him at the end, so
perfect execution.
It's all according to. He understood their game plan a lot better than the last game. Ultimately,
yeah,
that just wins you. Regardless of it. That said, they did execute pretty well on top of it. So then it's just then it becomes very one-sided. This type of game, I think it's less to me if the game plan is as easy. I think this is a lineup that can be difficult to execute. Slark, Brew, and Fury. But once again, I feel like AG are kind of in a similar predicament where it's like, what is DB's plan relative to his own? He's on a first phase Pugna.
Yeah.
The battle begins.
Yeah, I think I would. Polaris charging in on them. Will manage to get the glimpse back for a little bit more damage. Don't think they're going to be able to get first blood, but they'll do a lot. Inner Dream not actually backing out to the tier 2. Makes a bold move to the tier 1. Doesn't get punished for it, but does take a lot of damage. Bar is getting his full amount of damage out with these rocket barrages, though, so he turns a decent back around on Polaris.
This barrage is a very efficient spell for him.
Yeah, now he's going to be glimpsed back and battery assaulted on his way back to the tier 2. But again, I don't think he's going to die here. He gets a little bit low, but ultimately he spent most of his mana pool. I think he just goes back to base, heals up. That's pretty chill.
Yeah, the last trade was not good for them here for Polaris. And I think Lifestealer should die there. He should just get body walked up. Especially with Glim. Like, if you get glimpsed at the rune, it should always be a kill. You can TP out, and obviously you can't first clock. So it's something that AG are gonna have to think about this game, because you can also just hookshot into Static Storm late. So this clock has a lot of kill threats in this game. Set a lot of stuff up for them. Really annoying. Even for the mobility hero, like, or the Lifestealer. If you get hookshot and then you run up in Static Storm's Lifestealer, you're not guaranteed to get Rage off. That's a huge deal, because then it comes down to Pugna save. Pugna save is decent, but it's also a bit slow. So once again, if I'm looking for this AG team to strike back in game 2, I'm looking for DB to have higher impact than he did last game, and to kind of have a...
No, it seems like the two things you've outlined, and we outlined it from starting from game 1, which was RB geniuses rely on DB a lot to have high impact in their games, and usually he does do that. Didn't see that in game 1, hope to see it in game 2, but also it's a hard Pugna game, which it just means DB's execution is going to be all the more important, and itemization, which may have been the downfall of game 1. Probably the biggest criticism levied his way was whether or not that Doom build was correct. So I don't know, what build do you go to? I know it's a hard game. How do you make it easier?
Force staff. It is a very good force staff game. I would expect some survivability between force. Pretty nice, but that's on the greedier side. That said, he went pretty greedy last game, so maybe it's back on the menu. He is a level 30 Pugna, so He's a Pugnus bandit. That's the one thing I like about it. And I think why they committed it to core. Maybe they were going to anyway, but Pugnus really annoying for Slark.
And it seems to be doing pretty well in lane against Nature's Prophet. 19-1, so DB is kind of crushing it in the CS department.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yep, just in like that. DB, what happened there? They get the toss back?
What have we here?
Oh, yeah.
Dire's courier has
We haven't
been
talked
killed.
about mid too much, but this is also an interesting matchup where I think Slark can dominate and Mac is...
Oh, yeah.
to Slark. Because you want mid Slark to be ahead. This is not a hero you put mid to go even or be slightly behind. He just doesn't do much on the map if that's the case. But if he's ahead and he can maybe control some runes, get a fast diffusal, treads, whatever he wants to go, then make a name for himself. And he is decent ahead of Yahweh here, full level. That is a nice place to be in.
I feel like I've only seen Slarks dominate this match against Ember Spirit. How can it go the other way? For
you just play the early waves better. Like,
你懂林北是谁吗？
okay.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Yeah, I guess a big part is the fact that Slark is not really a bottle hero, and Ember Spirit can take full advantage of both the water and power runes. So, yeah, I can see that. The Varys trying to set up for the kill onto Boom. He does enough damage that In Your Dream might be able to finish him off, and he does. Gets the final little swipe in there to secure a second kill for AG in this laning.
some side lane action for AG here. If we remember, though, they had pretty good lanes last game, too, and it didn't do anything for them. This game, they can maybe do it a bit easier because you can play with the Pugnus tempo as opposed to do your hammer. No, I don't think their lineup is crazy fast, so the lanes are not... I wouldn't be too concerned about early resets for players. I just want to
Got
get
him
to the
again.
levels.
And the
That's
toss
concerning.
back at attempted TP, but it is
Dire's
too
top
little
tower
too
is under
late. The
attack.
damage from AG catches a third kill in this game and a second kill in this lane against that very hero.
Dire's
Area of
structures
Polaris,
are
Akashi is
fortified.
far behind at this point.
And this is a little too much. I think one death was maybe okay, but this is a second death on top of a catapult wave. Your tower is dying here.
Radiant's middle tower
Nobody can help
is
you.
under
It's
attack.
too early to help. In fact, they just gave it up and went mid. So they're trying to trade mid with double damage for Mac, which
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's top tower has fallen.
losing mid tower at this time is also
Radiant's
pretty
middle
debilitating
tower
here.
has fallen.
Yahweh has been shut down almost equally as hard. He's got like catch-up duty.
Rough times. He's just now getting his level 6, so he couldn't really make the remnant play for power runes or bounty runes. It was very inefficient timing.
Yeah, this is not going to be one of those snowball amber games where he just runs around and slights everybody into oblivion. Even getting...
Which I'm kind of happy to see, honestly. The getting slight spammed by Ember Spirit is really obnoxious. More so than in the past. I don't know why. He's hurt me a couple times. 8-minute power runes, though, are coming up.
I want to contest this if you're players. I don't even want to give Yahweh some kitties to double damage here. Especially with how
Another
the silence
attempt.
are going.
Ooh. Close. Jokum almost got the toss back on CML there for DB with the drain. The repositioning combined with that, Yoey just ahead of the pounce there. Is going to be outside the kinetic fields and out of remnants. Bavarians is coming in on the other side. Boomy's just going to get overwhelmed by that damage. The Rocket will be able to finish the job, or the Slight will, and it switched over to Mac as a result. So Mac took a huge chunk of damage in that short period of time. Meanwhile,
and they lose the rune.
Yeah, they lose the rune, and Bokarina also put the Brewmaster ultimate to use there, killing the Pugna.
I mean, every Brawl pretty much going to be a Pugna kills game. There is no counterplay in this matchup. It is just, well, see you guys later, unless you're tanking up for a beat.
Comforting rune of regeneration.
Amidst the rage, but still has the infest to be able to get out, and will be just fine. They kill the creep, but I think he's far enough away. He should mid lane, getting aggressive here. Surrounded, female is gonna die to Yoey and Jokum. So Yoey is back in business at this point in time, thanks to these last couple of kills. He has been revitalized in both the Golden and Experience, and isn't too far away from the Slark now.
This early game's looking pretty good for AD. I don't feel like I've seen these Slarks in games. It's hard to snowball it. You're kind of just getting beat up, and what's the turnaround threat? Like, are you threatening Yali here? Not really. I say that and maybe overextended a bit.
Yeah, he almost just killed himself there going underneath tower.
I think the item buildup for Slark is just a bit slow. You're going this Echo here. I think Diffusal's the fastest, but even then, you remember that game we watched Nisha play mid Slark, and he went Diffusal first? He got slowed down a little, and by the time he came out, it's just like, can't get any kills.
Yeah. It's a pretty damn good Mage Slayer game, so I could understand why you would want the early Echo Saber first.
Yeah. Maybe the upside here is you have two cores that have some utility between the Furion Roots, Master's utility. You can just play carry Slark, which I think is their idea. So I don't necessarily think this game is on him to go find kills, build some tempo. Some of these mid Slarks are prioritized to do. I think he can just farm and build carry, but it does mean you're going to give space back to Yahweh. So that kind of early lane win mid, the early
when it comes to the carry matchup, who would you prefer to be more of the carry in the match? Would you prefer the Nature's Prophet versus the Lifestealer or the Slark?
In terms of who's scaling, I mean, just scale them both. Lifestealer's an absolute garbage can of a man fighter, I feel. So, which is what the hero's designed to do. That's why I think this hero's very weird. I just think if we're talking about 5 or 6 slotted carries and it's Furion and Slark versus Lifestealer, I'd probably take either.
James immediately in return is going to be able to catch the Pugna, so a trade out that is going to be pretty damn good. In fact, in your dream, almost put himself in a nasty position there. Did have the infest to be able to get out and reset. The rest of AG are chased away, but nobody should be caught. Made a boo-boo, but Jokum will fix it.
You gotta be careful about these 5-on-5s. And again, if you're DB, he doesn't have Force Staff yet. He doesn't have a VK. Static Storm and Duel are just gonna destroy you in these fights. I don't know if you necessarily want to just be running in first with the Pugna here.
Yeah, this is a very Thompson-esque, like, you know, you're riding the lightning, you're riding the edge of the knife all day. Play this hero. You cannot afford very few deaths, and you gotta be doing some major outplays quite often.
They do have some decent combos with him. I think the Decrepify into Gyro Shard is pretty nasty. Out of magical burst that comes out when the missile is starting to hit you is ridiculous. That's pretty nice here. I think the Decrep off the tiny combo is also obviously very nice.
Yeah, drain, tiny toss back. They did that a couple times.
Yeah, but outside of that, there's not much, but it's enough.
You got one more. You got the Decrepify Lifestealer combo. Huh?
That's true. Decrep him, then he can't hit him. That's why he's going Radiance, so he has magic damage to put into that
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, now you understand the next level of plays. I mean, you can get openings, heal off the heal. What now?
Keep him in range of the suck. Echo Saber's done for Mac. We'll see how aggressive he wants to be using this item. Taking the early mid tower with a sword has gotta feel so good. Just watching him like kind of push the lane in and walk forward early into the enemy jungle. The Slark is one of the few heroes that can do that top lane. Gonna be able to catch the Tiny here. Good pick off by Boomy. AG, you know, when they split up in these individual lanes like this, they got to be really careful. There is a lot of pick-off potential on the side of Polaris between the natural, you know, having Slark, but also the glimpse backs that it's going to be giving you.
Disruptors is really nice. Like every glimpse is basically a kill. Getting something off of it in terms of leech or stun into static here. There isn't going to be early spell immunity for this AG lineup outside of the lifesteal rate. Which, if you don't care about him scaling, then kind of just ignore him this game and kill everybody else. That's what they've been doing a bit. But this game pretty even at 1k. Smoke out of mid for Yahweh. He did not get that double damage. It went to Mac here. A little sad about that one, but still has level 10. A lot of damage coming out from this Ember. Gonna try and combine it with Pugna. Find something in this jungle, but it's only gonna be Clock. Or they don't want the Clock. They want Disruptor.
Either way, it's support. They're not actually getting a core kill out of this one.
In fact, he's dying.
Yeah, he's got a force step. What the host shot throws him on the ran out. Oh no, the battery assault just ran out. Now, looks like DB is still maybe going to die to the Slark. Yeah, he ends up dying to the Nature's Prophet ultimate at the end of the day, and the Tiny is caught by the Brewmaster ultimate. Avalanche is trying to create a little bit of time, but he is definitely dead. So Polaris actually, you know, they give up their 2 supports, but they get something much better in return.
Yeah, I don't think Polaris are sad about that, especially with the Pugna gold going to Akashi. You didn't even have to join that fight because he got the last hit. They're very happy every time they get to kill this Pugna. And that's kind of the issue. He has 4 staff, but he's still almost getting solo killed by Clock. Matchup's just super good for the hero. Now this Furion is getting to that mid game where he's going to have BKB very fast and slow down. He's not going to slow down.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Wisely backs off.
The 2 key members battling against each other, Gyrocopter and Clockwork, but a little unfair. Ends up being a 1 versus 3, so AG get a little pick off here.
Yeah, we're down our game 1 from last game. I'm saying, man, they talk a lot of shit, but they don't back it up.
Yeah, the Gyrocopter Clockwork one is pretty funny when you have the shard on Gyrocopter. Being close to him doesn't actually feel that good. What a static storm from Boomy. You see if it lasts long enough to get the kill, and the Rage goes off. The Infest. Oh, he gets inside the Siege Creep. Man, you know, I kind of wish that did work just because it was such a great reaction from Boomy, but didn't have enough damage.
Furion bounce not picking up and missed once to the Radiance. A little bit matters. Tails out for a lifestealer up here.
Dire are scanning.
Big timing though for Polaris is they got the level 2 Gruul.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Because a lot of levels this game. He hasn't died since 2-0. He's all 12. He's got it. They're going to be able to collapse here on these towers and be really confident about these fights. Now, if you bring everybody here for HP, you're just fighting a level 2 Gruul with a pipe. What? That's tough.
Radiant's bottom tower
You have to think about the glimpses as well.
middle tower has fallen.
The 5 out of 5 is there.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Plus a BKB on Nature's Prophet. That is about to be done, so.
You do not want to lose too many fights right now if you're AG, because that Roshan is
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
and even the early medallion on Boomy Disruptor going for Solar Crest.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Rupture? That's a
Radiant's bottom tower
crazy.
is under attack.
cap. Why would you do such a thing?
Yeah,
how
Boone's
they
got some
massacred my
different
boy.
ideas. Yeah.
Go for my master.
Do you think Radiance makes the Lifestealer, like now that the Radiance is a bit of a item, all these other heroes are building it. Shot into Cog, didn't actually go for the Cog pushback. Yoei does have enough mana to be able to get away. In fact, he's got In Your Dreams is going to be joining him here.
They're just
Gonna
baiting.
get a little bit low. Ian Fast is going to be able to bail him out just at the right time. Pops out. Now In Your Dream starts going to work. In from behind, DB blows up CML, and Akashi has to use the BKB to teleport back home. So two supports die, and AG on full charging. And they got him. Nice outflank toss back. Beautiful read there from Jokum. Perfect timing to make sure the Brewmaster does not escape.
That was the gyro shard fight, so instantly getting a lot of value out of this. Just disconnected
Dire's
from
middle
Polaris
tower
too.
is under attack.
Like Boomy's de-warding their
Radiant's
high ground on the
bottom
other side.
tower is under attack.
Overextended, and now Mac dies too.
Pugna damage. He has early Octarine and Force Staff. That's two of the three I was talking about. So he's halfway there out of the four between Force Staff, Octarine, Ags, and BKB. You get all that. This Pugna.
And it's off.
Again, Jokum just on point with these tossbacks, man. He was a big factor in being able to win that lane for DB. He's now helped him get a number of kills. And AG really just speeding around the map, constantly getting pickoffs. Polaris, they got to get on the same page here.
Dire's top tower
Look
is
what's
under
waiting
attack.
in the river.
Double damage and Roshan.
Roche killer. This Roche, they need the DD for it because he put his Radiance Halberd build.
Once again, avalanche initiation. Now he is going to be caught in a static storm. Wouldn't really set up his team for a good fight. So perhaps a little bit of an overextension. But he managed to get Blooms back here. Got a good over the kill onto DD, and they've got him with the Brew ultimate. Yoei actually jumped into the Remnant and did manage to get the kill on the Disruptor. He's going to be caught by the Brew ultimate. Does he have? He doesn't have any more Remnants. He's caught by the Pounce, but he's dead. Polaris now have an opportunity to check out Roshan as they watch the Lifestealer TP back home. Nobody's home.
And it's half HP. Thanks for your work. We appreciate your contribution to the cause. Make a donation anytime.
And Aegis over. Nice rocket there from CML.
He's almost there in time. But that's a huge turn for Polaris because that was deep, but again, it's just too slow. I thought it would have been a little faster, but their lineup just has very little physical damage. It's all slow AoE magic and
It might have been sick if he could have gotten like a toss down to the low ground, that sort of pick or something. But yeah, the tiny initiation ends up being a bit of a feed. Brings a couple heroes low, but CML hook shot.
Radiant's top tower is
Kind
under
of some
attack.
distance. Three's gonna be thrown at him, and a slight is gonna be able to finish him off. Mac now playing in the middle of this mess. Bounce right back
Radiant's
where he
top
came
tower
from.
is under attack.
you gotta
Radiant's
respect
top
that
tower
first thing
is
come out.
falling.
Also, you don't have to take these fights.
Under
You just
attack.
play the map. You have
Dire's
Furion, you have
bottom
Sark to kill the
tower
vision. You have like, you have better catch.
Radiant's
This
top
AG
tower
lineup
is under
wants
attack.
to get the 5-on-5s going with the Radiance, with Pugna and the ball. That's why they're
Radiant
happy.
are
So
scanning.
if you're players, you don't have to force those, especially if you don't have Brew ult up with cooldown low. Block is
That was something, right? AG used to scan behind the tower to see if anybody was home, and down the disruptor.
And this is what you should do if you group up like this, because you are getting punished on the map. So you don't want to be just 5-manning and not getting anything out of it while they set up on you. What the combine this Aegis?
Trying to parry a word. Yeah, with the Brew ultimate, once again, they feel confident about taking these fights. Mac wants to hold on to the Aegis, so he actually pounces away from In Your Dream, does a hefty amount of damage, and he's clearing through these Brewlings. Ocarino's got to be careful with that one. Shot, Cogs push back, nice amount of chain stun. Now with the Static Storm, that is beautiful. That amount of heal from BB is going to do little to nothing to be able to stall that life out. Finally, the Aegis falls, but BB stuck in a nasty situation, drops the ward, and the Cogs push back just in time. Fortunately, the Gyrocopter will manage to get away just before the vision is granted from Kashi, and Yoei also managed to get away, and that will complete his BKB. But once again, players, when it comes to the Brewmaster ultimate being up, they feel confident taking team
Radiant's
fight.
middle tower is under attack.
Regeneration.
Dire are scanning. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
The ground with this Gleipnir now, and he's gonna keep scaling in terms of the hand fight. You have swords, start building 8. They're just gonna fall too far behind the map. Every one of these fights you lose vision to the Slark, you lose lanes to the Furion. This Brew gets to scale more because he's getting gold out of the 5-on-5. He's gonna have a Radiance of his own.
See. Yeah, I love this combo that you pointed out. Nature's Prophet plus Slark. So you have like the ultimate wave clear and like side lane pressure combined with the best ward finder in the game. So you just are constantly losing map control from creeps pushing into you, and you don't retain map control from wards. Slark is constantly keyboarding. Good catch though. Smoke rotation finds the carry. Kashi falls. The unstoppable streak fed away. That is almost 1,200 gold given away for that one. And they're also going to be able to get Boomy off of this one. So Rocket's going to chase him down. Go away. Another slight or just the very slow burn down will get him.
That was a ward timing out as they get that kill. Just in the nick of time. Can't ask for a better payoff there. At least, again, if you're a group up like this, you got to get something out of it because you are getting out farmed. Map is not your friend right now. Fights can still be pretty favorable. You get the jump, especially. It's on Yokum. I feel like if Yokum gets a good jump, they find. Better make sure they stay up.
Gotta play around him. Give Slark the free D wards. It also means every smoke has gotta hit. And when it comes to being creative, one of the few tools you have to get around the map undetected is the smoke. Pop them, you gotta make sure you get something good. Polaris, they're gonna pop a smoke of themselves and see where they go for it.
Scanning.
Check in on the Roshan pit.
And this smoke is awkward because Mac had BKB and Gem coming on courier, so he has to run back for it. That's why he's crawling his way back to the team and kind of slowly going up this hill. A little awkward,
Not
but
a big...
they will get mapped.
Again, because what you were saying, that Polaris really isn't forced to make moves. It always concerns me when I see a move that is described as awkward. Because you don't have to make that move in the first place.
No, they could have played it a bit slower. I mean, they had this Radiance on the Brew, so like, oh, hit Radiance on Brew, time to fight. But BKB's not there. no clear pathway on the smoke. The lanes weren't in.
Ooh, hook shot misses, and the ward is de-warded. At the same time, the smoke also doesn't necessarily look for AG, but they could go for CML.
Just doesn't seem to.
Start backing away. Yo, what? Almost got him. They do get the one spin. Life Stealer is on top of Bloomy, but he already got the rage off. He gets the bash to be able to finish him off as well. Joker is going to be able to force staff himself a decent distance away and reset. Yoey just goes back for the defensive kill on Yoey, but he's almost dead. Has to jump over to his remnant. Barely makes it out alive. Max starts retreating. Akashi still has his BKB to work with, though, so he's down to continue this fight, but not against the Life Stealer. Eventually, this Life Stealer is going to get a bash, and now Akashi no longer has that BKB, and now he is dead.
Very nice kiting despite AG. They missed the habit toss or take out Disrupt, but he drops his ult anyway. Yoey just manning up to the last minute too. I mean, that's a very different idea of level 20 Furion, but they didn't have it. And single force staff enough to prolong, or double force staff I should say, enough to prolong the fight for AG. Clear out the ult and the Slark control.
Is under attack.
Nice engagement from them. It's going to set up this next Roshan.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Now they can play for Roshan. It's going to be a relatively fast Roshan, 45-second spawn. But it does mean Polaris will be up in time to play for it as well. So AG, very important that you get some map control from this. You already see Yoey pushing out bottom lane, and Mac doing his best to counteract that by playing top. He's going to be a little bit surrounded. Mac knows it though. Oh, got canceled. Got canceled. Now let's see if he can run his way out of here. He has a rocket on him. That's going to make things rough. BKB activated. He has his ultimate as well. He's got to get out of sight. He's got to be able to juke them, and it's daytime as well. That's going to make things so much harder. He's out of bounce charges. Another 2 seconds, still another one. A static storm to try and help him, but it's not going to be enough. Mac has given up both his life and the gem and lost their static storm on the way out. Gloomy will fortunately escape for his life.
Double damage in the river. Roche spawns. This is not the time to have a bad death right now. This is a really bad death. This is shard too, so you're getting a lot of value off this depending on who you want to give it to. So he's 3 of the 4, you know? He's slowly putting the Exodia together in terms of survivability here.
Looks like he wants to go side.
Not for that. It's going to be obnoxious in the fight. Because the thing is, now you have triple force staff for AG. There's a lot of kiting potential. You don't have the lockdown anymore if you're players. You need this Furion level 20 for the leash, but force staffs are going to bail a course out here. How does the Slark actually hit you?
Radiant's bottom tower
What a
is
gank.
under attack.
Polaris, he just send the Pugna back after he TP'd in, trying to finish off the tower clip. Might be able to get the tier 2, which means no outpost for them.
If you're Polaris, I think you want to stall this game out. I think you want to split the map, farm up the 1 or 2 more items, honestly. Berries. Maybe Scotty on Slark. He's thinking about Bloodthorn, but Nullifier for Akashi, yeah, that sounds pretty good too, right? Ooh, some better tools to get.
Aghanim Scepter, Disruptor.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get to this game because he went Drum Solar for his Slark and Furion. Which I think makes sense. It gives him...
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Green gets caught. He's got his ultimate, but the mashes. Okay. Didn't have a window to get it off there. Yeah, it looks like CML's gonna be caught as well. Glimmer Cave trying to get away. They have a sentry to spot him. Max gotten over. Oh, the hook shot. There was no creep there.
Oh, he's trying to hook the
cleared
Slark.
that camp, I think. Did he?
Yeah, he was trying to hook the Slark. Max just too slip.
Oh, and now Bulk's still gonna be caught. Look at that evasion. He missed like 4 hits in a row or something because he had the storm. Was it the green one or the blue one?
Blue. Gives you up to, I believe, the 75?
Dire are scanning.
30% evasion and bonuses are 4x when brewed up. What?
Yeah, I don't think that's right. Is it? I thought it was 70. I thought it was like 25 to 80% evasion when it got. I thought this was 3x. Did this get changed? Am I out of my mind?
Grants 90 per. Oh, there's a talent for it. He's got that 15 talent, so he does get 120% evasion.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's got broken. It's 120%.
Yeah, it just turns into Wind Ranger for a bit.
Huh.
Yeah, without that, it goes up to 90%.
All right. Here, either way, you're not hitting. What's the other thing? Sight. It's still the cinder. Alright. Yeah. Interesting. Ones we don't go through all. No plays here. Pretty bad clubs, but he's gonna get caught again here. Man, the AG have just playing the game around. Outfarming you right now. Don't have a clear way to deal with the utility in the place.
Feels like Polaris. I mean, AG, they showed up, they did all the right moves, but also feels like Polaris crumbled a little bit. There were certainly times where they were strong and they had this Brewmaster ultimate and stuff, and then they would still take these fights that didn't involve the Brewmaster or were like a little forced or awkward, or that Mac death that you said was very bad. Gave AG Roshan for free.
The rune of regeneration.
We're not hitting. We're paying the price now. AG looking at high ground. Aegis for another minute. They have BKB on Lightstealer flying out. BKB on Yahweh and BKB on Eve. It's come together. Exodia has been built. Now maintaining your base.
I don't know enough about Yu-Gi-Oh! to know what stops Exodia, but players are going to try and put something together here. Static Storm catches the Tiny. And throw the Lightstealer up in the air. That's pretty nice.
Aegis is still there for 20, so you don't want to kill him yet.
Cut him out as much as possible. Matt goes in deep, looking for the backline here. Spots the Gyrocopter, not sure if he wants to go for that. Yoei popping his BKB, trying to finish off the Disruptor. Not quite enough damage, though. Player is going to be able to reset. Let's see if Mac
on the back.
Oh, he BKBs just in time before the Avalanche can catch him.
Under attack.
It's in high ground defense for Polaris. They don't lose anything. They wear out this Aegis, they get a tiny buyback. BKB is down for AG. You still want to push here without Ember BKB? Without Thunder BKB? Pretty risky.
I mean, I guess their thought is no Brew ulti, no Static Storm. Opt to back out. Mac quick to try and get whatever farm he can, because he needs to. Obviously, we saw in that last fight, they can't really fight into the Lifestealer exactly. They have to spend most of their time kiting him around.
He really wants this MKB to pierce TV. They can couple that with the nullifier that Akashi did finish, then they start to have the damage piercing lockdown. Combo up and take a big core down. And I think if they manage to kill a big core, then the fight gets broken. They have to get that first one. It's going to be tough. Look at the utility out here. It's hard to hit people.
Mac is trying real hard to be able to get this pick. This Gyrocopter has been super annoying. Force Step actually gets him down to the low ground, and Varys is still alive. Basic Glimmer, they do manage to kill DB though, so Poke and CML do a good job of that. But double chain, that is going to be rough. I don't think they have a way out of this one. Cogs just locks them in together. No, Corrito can't go anywhere. It's like, why'd you do this to me?
Brother, why?
You could have given up your life and ran into the enemy and cogged them. Instead, you trapped us. We're gonna die together.
When your friend drowning and you go to save him, he pulls you down with him. It's here to save you. Why did you do this?
No life jackets aboard the side of Polaris. There is big ol' iceberg on its way called In Your Dream. He's gonna tackle this tier 3. Couple of touches to finish it off. LB1 still has the BKB, so he could. I mean, he's a good high ground hitter. Oh, okay. Glimpse back on Varys. And don't really have too many ways to actually keep the attack going for Polaris.
I feel like Akashi is pivotal to every killer they get because he has the Sprout Leash, he has the Nullifier right now. He's their biggest lockdown. And the problem is he can't just like teleport in the fight and go on. I think it's way too hard. The Life Stealer's just going to start hitting you, and I don't think you output enough damage fast. So the fight has to kind of develop into Polaris here. Just an awkward point of the game for them. If they can push past this, I think the Lakin can get a bit better, but next Roshan is likely AGs as long as they don't make any dumb plays. Be a
Especially with this fast of a Roshan spawn, 10 seconds.
Fast. Oh yeah, okay, never mind.
Radiant's
Time are
bottom
we
tower
looking at?
is under attack.
It's up. It's actually Polaris who sees it first. CML had the perfect timed rocket to be able to see Roshan spawn. So it's going to be a refresher shard Roshan.
Radiant are scanning.
Probably not the one they were hoping for with this lineup.
Yeah, I don't think that lineup has very long cooldowns at all.
It's okay here for some double BKBs or whatever, but
yeah, give it to Ember
Maybe
Spirit.
Tags. It's tags for Ember here. He already has one, so. Oh, yeah, I guess it was okay then. For the Yahweh now with the X, so then it works out. All coming together. Arcane.
There's going to be the combination of vision inside the pit and the constant pressure of Akashi pushing in bottom lane. So this isn't going to necessarily be the easiest Roshan take for AG, because they're always having to keep one eye looking behind them, checking out that tier 3 bottom. Also making sure they don't get caught as DV has. BKB just goes off a bit too late as he got shot during the glimpse, and they managed to finish him off before the TV complete. At the same time, Static Storm goes out. BKB already activated from away. He's going to be able to jump away to his remnant. Looks like both supports are going to die through this, but Mac is going to continue with the tag straight onto Jokum. Does manage to follow that up with a second count to be able to finish him up, but a big stun comes out and gives Jokum an opportunity to be able to reset. Nullifier onto Yoe, but remnant, oh no, now Akashi gets caught. They didn't have any detection. Nobody trusts something. I said, no, Akashi, not the sprout he wanted. Mac does manage to finally finish up that support. Goes for a desperate TP out. He's denied by that. Yoe's just a monster sticking on these heroes and not getting caught and simultaneously denying the enemy's exit.
Just don't have the lockdown. And I can't help but feel like
look at him go. He's gonna track down Boomy here. Throws out.
This is a dieback and he gets it. He's gonna get it.
Hey, there's no way to try. Surely. One more remnant. Throw it out. Glimmer. He's not gonna see him right away. Clean this light. Oh, he knows. Oh, man. All right. That was sick by Yoe. That was perfect.
Use this Fury on Network, and he hasn't been able to use it. And I'm not necessarily faulting him, it's just something about this build or the way the game is going is just
Radiant's
not
middle
easy for
tower
him.
is under attack.
I mean, I will say one little thing. Sprouting yourself in with the Life Stealer is not great, in particular because Sprout should just own this Life Stealer. He doesn't have Battle Fury, so he doesn't have the natural tree cutting mechanism.
I think it's just the evasion adding up. I don't know. He's just not taking any damage, and this Fury basically has full damage. He has a lot of damage, plus 289. I feel like he should be doing more in these fights, but they haven't been able to sync it up, or Sprouts haven't been on point. Either way, there's a lot of network to cut through now because you have Aegis on In Your Dream who's not even 9-1s. get this refresher shard on Yahweh, who is level 25 now, so he has more slights and more
He knows what to do with. I feel like they just gotta sprout the lifestealer and focus everybody else. I feel like that, honestly, that's the answer.
I think that's what was happening, but the thing is, you can't focus other people. It's just, there's too much utility. There's so many glimmers and forces and decreps and pugna saves and so many BKBs than the one time you can't. Like, there's no direct hex or abyssal here for Polaris. And they're still missing this evasion pierce on both their heroes.
They're still missing the Aghanim Scepter on Disruptor too, which you said he probably won't get it this game.
That would have been another tool for sure, though.
He wants the dieback. I guess he won't have a buyback, not a dieback.
One way to kill a hero.
He only throws everything he has to be able to kill him. And probably going to go for a TP back fountain real quick. Poke actually going to be tossed back and pushed back by Jokum as he used the Havoc Hammer. Giving a little bit of extra distance. They're going to use this route to try and buy Bokarina a little bit of time here, but Forsaf through. Okay, they want to reset. Especially loading in the screen. Still gearing up. Back to play though. Let's get right behind him. Does get off his ultimate. They're trying to target Jokum right now, who does have the heal coming out from the Pugna, and the Brewlings are getting eviscerated pretty quickly. Looks like oh, they got him inside this round. Now they managed to get him with the middle fire as well. The Decrepit Fire helps him, and he managed to jump away from his remnant just in time. Akashi with his BKB still wants to fight, but he's got to be careful of In Your Dream. Hold up, he's got a lot of stacks on Mac, and his attack speed was really putting the pain on In Your Dream there for a second. Got a couple of bashes in and kept up the threat. In Your Dream and the rest of AG actually had to reset despite nobody dying. We'll have to back away from the dire pace. And whenever you do that against the Disruptor, probably means you're going to put somewhere.
You're giving a lot of stacks to this Slark if these fights go really long. He has Penta-Edge Sword too. Double extra damage and attack range. 33 stacks on Mac right now. He's one creep off level 25 as well, which is a huge talent for this hero. Starting to feel some of that late game man fight from this Polaris lineup. You get trapped and feed away this Ember once, this game could look very different. You have a buyback now on Akashi. He did not have this for the earlier fights, but he has it now, so this Furion can come back.
Middle tower is under attack.
Maybe that's also a turning point here. An NKB dunk for Mac. These are huge items for Polaris. Doesn't use them though.
Once again, the Sprout kind of awkward. Mac does have his ultimate though. Intends to get him out of the Sprout. Goes back in. Umi targeted once again. Yoe. He had the double damage and he knows his target every single time. He's going to go for the Disruptor. Rolled in 3. Through 2, 1. Oh, get smashed. Get off his missile. Now this Halsey tossed up in the air and denied. He is not going to be able to get off that ultimate. Mac just has to rush on out of here, but now no BKB, no ultimate. One more pounce charge, but that's only going to take you so far, especially against Yoe. And a science actually. DB kept his hand toss over. Mac, another pounce up in a second. It's just not going to be good enough. The Slark gets caught. No buyback there. And RPG is...
Where's your gold?
Speedy rune of haste.
Bought too many clams and ate them all.
Akashi was not paying attention at all to his hero. That is rough. Uses his BKB, which makes his death that much worse. He wasn't looking at his hero. I think he was looking at bottom lane with CML, was hoping to make a go on Varys, but because he was looking at that, DB just found a free initiation, and both Jokum and Yoe managed to combo off.
Probably just do the game off this push, I think, because you don't have the Slark buy. You can use the Furion one here, but he uses BKB. I don't think he can take the fight. Man, this lifesteal looked pretty damn good this game. I gotta admit, he caused them a lot of problems in these fights. Just felt untouchable.
Dire structures are fortified.
Maybe the Radiance breathes some new life into this year.
It's definitely a lot better. Like, you get this Radiance and Halberd pretty early, and it allows you to take early fights versus carries where they don't have the ability to itemize back at that point in the game. They got a lot of value out of it.
He went for the static play, but he really got his rage out, and that does nothing. An ag static storm that really did not catch Mark. They wanted to, I guess, but Kashi gets tossed back into his death. Mac is going to come back into play soon, but most of his team is dead, and all of his buildings are gone. GG is going to be called by Polaris. We are going to a game 3.
Radiant victory.